For as long as I can remember, probably the same for all, stepmothers have always had this negative image of being wicked. For example, the evil stepmother in folktales like Snow White and in Cinderella. Now, we do have real-life good stepmothers, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about 12-year-old Malinda Hoagland's stepmother, Cindy Bird Warren, who, luckily for officials, had recorded all the pain Malinda went through. Hello, hi, and welcome to our podcast. I am Amadi, and here with me is the lovely...
The Grin.
This is a place where we don't shy away from gruesome details where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. Get yourself in the right frame of mind, and let's talk about dark shit.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to insert, if you happen to like what you hear, please like, follow, or subscribe to our socials like...
Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm trying to think of all of them.
That's pretty much it. I think we're also on Apple Music, but I don't know
I think so too.
I don't know how many people actually listen to that one. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know.
If you are, make sure you follow us.
There you go. But I also want to thank our YouTube listeners a little bit more because so far they're the ones that have been commenting or liking more. So thank you, YouTube people. And to everybody else, catch up. On May 4th of this year, 2024, West Caln, West Caln Township Police Department and Westwood Fire respond to a call for an unconscious 12-year-old girl made by her father, Malinda Hoagland. She was taken to the Paoli Hospital Trauma Center, and there she was found to be malnourished, weighing only 50 pounds, covered in bruises, half a dozen broken bones, and failing organs. Since all of this already is way more than what Reynolds had originally said would happen, which supposedly, according to Reynolds, Malinda hit a tree while riding her bike, investigators decided to look into the history of Reynolds and his fiancée, Cindy Warren. Reynolds surprisingly only had a driving violation, but Cindy.
She was well decorated.
Oh, yes, I like that, even though that's meant for good people. Investigators find out that Cindy, back in 2000, was sentenced to 3 to 7 years in prison for child endangerment to her 3-year-old son. She had confessed and gone against her then husband, McKinley Warren Jr., for the death of his 2-year-old daughter, Jessica Bach.
Wait. So this individual already has her own kid.
Yes.
Who she's neglecting, and she was also accused of doing the same to a previous stepchild?
Yes. Supposedly different causes, supposedly. So, I know we started off with Malinda. I want to go back to 2000 with Jessica. Cindy Bird met McKinley Warren Jr., who was 13 years her senior. I don't care when or how they met or anything like that. In July 27th, 1996, they had their first son. A year later, they had a second son, and on December 1st, 2000, they ended up getting married. But the two boys were not the only kids. April 1998, a little girl named Jessica Marie Bach was born to Veronica Bach. Veronica had a quick little affair with McKinley, and then Jessica was born, while he was with Cindy. Veronica kept Jessica, and I'm not sure if McKinley knew about her, but Veronica was said to be also drug addicted. I believe it was crack, and was also, a little later, she was arrested for retail theft and child endangerment. So because of that, Jessica was placed with her aunt and uncle, Melissa and Doug Bach, along with their newborn, before Jessica was the age of 2. But on September 29th, 1999, Jessica was placed with her biological father, McKinley. But that's only because McKinley called and was screaming at Aunt Melissa, saying that he wants his daughter, and honestly at the same time he's being a bit racist, supposedly, saying that he doesn't want a white family raising his child.
Wow.
Yeah. So apparently that worked. Jessica ended up going to live with McKinley. To her, he was a complete stranger, and also moving in with Cindy and their 2 kids. Allegedly, within 2 months of Jessica moving in, she started to lose weight, stopped speaking, rarely walking, and crying a lot. On the day McKinley and Cindy got married, which was, remember, December 1st, afterwards, they all went out to run some errands, and according to Cindy, Jessica fell out of the car around the time of 6:30, 7 o'clock p.m., and she began to cry. And Cindy, being super caring, brought the little girl inside the house and immediately put ice on her face. Cindy calls McKinley to come home so they can take Jessica to the hospital because after a while, Jessica wasn't opening her eyes anymore. Now, this is McKinley's side of the story because they were interviewed separately. He says that the fall occurred around 3:30 p.m. And supposedly, the reason he remembers the time is because at 3:30, he left to go drinking at a tavern named Teddy's Tavern in Strasbourg. He states she didn't appear that bad and didn't see any bruises. He returns home around 5:30 p.m. and noticed that she had ice on her face. He states that Jessica was, it's so horrible to say, but that Jessica was a little crack baby. And since her mother was addicted and was using while she was pregnant, that's why Jessica was falling a lot because she had drugs in her system. Police then questioned one of the Warrens' kids, asking if that is what they saw. Did they see Jessica fall? And the little boy answers saying, in quotations, no, Daddy hit her. And that's because Jessica was supposedly pooping on the floor and that their father was the one who put ice on her face.
So he iced her after he hit her?
Yes. Cindy allegedly confessed that McKinley would abuse the kids, and that was the result of December 2nd. After Jessica was originally at the Pocono Medical Center, she was then transferred to Philadelphia's Children's Hospital, where she ended up passing away.
Aww.
They called it a failure to thrive. According to the coroner, it was ruled a homicide. And for some damn reason, it took years to investigate. Remember, this is 2000. And in 2007, when the police did a welfare check, they find a 3-year-old boy covered in bruises. Since there wasn't enough evidence against Cindy, she admitted to child endangerment and the beating of their 3-year-old, 3 years to 7 years, while McKinley pled guilty to the murder of 2-year-old Jessica and was given 50 years. Obviously, by this time, they don't have any of their children with them. And Cindy, luckily, Cindy ended up with only 3 years and was released in 2011. And in 2014 has another little boy named Gavin. And sadly for Gavin, in 2018, his father ends up passing away and he is left solely with Cindy.
Question.
Yes.
What about her other child?
The other kids got taken and they are now living with their aunt and uncle. They fought for the kids to be like, hey, they don't deserve. Remember, she was in prison for 3 years.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and the father for 50. So they ended up taking the kids.
Yeah, I guess that makes
And
sense.
then it didn't say anything about her when she got out, that she got her kids back.
But yeah, she could keep this one.
Maybe, I was thinking about that. Like maybe the authorities, maybe they didn't know that she got pregnant again. So they didn't know that she had a baby.
Yeah, because how could you track that?
I was thinking that, like, how do you track that kind of stuff? Unless they get more stricter with, like, what is it called? Big Brother rules or whatever? Like, that'd be scary, too, though, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's also kind of scary.
Yeah,
I don't know. Nah, I don't know. It's hard.
So now, around 2020, Cindy meets our first character, Malinda Hoagland, who already had 3 little girls of his own. And in 2022, Cindy and Malinda end up moving together, and they moved to Chester County.
What is it that these men see in Cindy?
So her photo, her jail, her whatever it's called, I forgot what it's called when they take pictures of you.
Mugshot?
Yeah, her mugshot. But her Facebook like post from back then, like she was like a really thin, like she liked to pose in front of like mirrors.
Filters.
No filters, thank goodness. That'd be true. Oh no. Later on, she did use filters, kind of filters.
Okay, Amadi.
But I hate filters. I don't know. She's still a white trash to me, so I don't know.
Okay, continue.
But also in 2020, the courts did find out that Reynolds was engaged with Cindy, so they made a ruling. According to a document obtained by CBS News, the minor child, Malinda, since she was the youngest, shall not be left in the care of Cindy Warren. the father's fiance, for any period of time exceeding 1 hour, unless expressly agreed upon by mother and father through written communication. So in 2020, that's what they said. Like there was like freaking document.
What?
Really.
How old was she at the time?
In 2020, Malinda was 10 years old.
And she was the youngest.
Yes.
Okay.
So knowing that that was in 2020, it makes more sense through Facebook, because I was going through Reynolds' Facebook going back like a few years, and all you see him is posting about his beautiful fiance, Cindy, and her son, Gavin, who was also living with them. He was always posting about Gavin's achievements and doing Cub Scouts with him and how he is basically the son he wished he had. There was only maybe 2 photos of his daughter, Malinda. One was on January 5th, 2024, and it was the Christmas photos, like things they got, like a bike, and she got like clothes, but Gavin got, he got a bike, but he got a phone, and he got like all this other cool stuff.
But I thought you said he had daughters.
They were older.
Oh, older, like
Yeah, I think they were like barely graduating or graduated.
Oh, so they weren't living.
No, they weren't living there.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
And I think there was also another post that Reynolds did about Malinda. It was her like happy birthday, happy 12th birthday. Hope you get many more years. Just like the outcome is like just so fucked up. Like just reading that. He probably didn't, I don't know if he meant it then, but it's just really fucked up. Like, hope you get many more years.
Like, if you know, because at that point, like you said, I mean, he must have known if the courts decided that she couldn't spend more than an hour with Malinda.
He had her known that she did something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet you would, I mean, you would introduce somebody like that to your kids?
What did they call it? Love is blind?
I mean, I guess.
That's really bad, though, especially if you love your kids. That's...
I mean, if you have little kids.
Yeah. That's not something that should be looked over just because you love somebody. Or like, oh, this girl's hot.
Agreed.
I want to do her drink. Sorry.
But, I mean, if that was something that was going through his head, if he didn't care, then kind of makes him a sleaze, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Completely. Yeah. An attorney on law and crime seems to think that the reason she wasn't posted, if at all, was because Malinda technically wasn't supposed to be living with Cindy because, Cindy's living there. Now here, I'm going to do a little timeline starting from November 2021. There was the couple's first recorded discussion about an assault causing injury to Malinda. Also in that same month, that's when Malinda had her last doctor's checkup where she weighed in at 77 pounds. And according to the CDC, an average 12-year-old girl's weight is about 90 pounds, but can go as low as 68 pounds. So she wasn't that far off yet. From June to September of 2022, they started to use stressful positions on her. Food and water was restricted, all for punishment. This one, according to Law & Order, there was a video of Malinda holding books above her head while being threatened, berated, and beaten.
By just stepmom, or was dad in it too?
I think dad in it too.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what sucks? It's going to talk more about videos, but I guess supposedly, according to Law & Order, they said that it's horrible, but Gavin, he was 9 years old, was also holding the camera for his mom to record some of the beatings that they were doing to Malinda, which sucks because like, what is that going to do to him when he gets older? Like his mentality.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be scary because he could grow up thinking like, oh, well, this is what you do to your kids.
This is
or
okay.
To your girl kids. So I don't know. That's going to be scary to think or to see. If it turns out bad for him when he gets older. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Hopefully they made sure to get him help.
Yeah.
Professional help.
Especially, he didn't, that was the only thing he was included in. They never said anything about him being, threatened or beaten at all. He was treated very nicely. Gavin.
Ugh.
Yeah. July 2023, they started to install cameras in the living room. November 2023 was the last time she was in school before she was transferred to online class. And a lot of the reason for that was because she had so many bruises and she had a rug burn on her face that makeup couldn't even cover anymore. Despite all the horrors happening to Malinda, in March 2024, she received Student of the Month. I know it's sad. And now we are back to May 4th, 2024, where the so-called family had a little camping trip. And for some reason, Reynolds was taking Malinda at 1 a.m. back and forth from the campsite to the house. In the evening of the 4th, there were internet searches for ways on how to wake up somebody. 2.5 hours after Reynolds made the police call, Malinda ended up passing away while in emergency surgery. Autopsy reports, along with her malnourishment, found 75 visible bruises, contusions, ulcers, injuries to her brain, heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, and intestines, as well as fractures to her pelvic bone, lower vertebrae, right forearm, and both thigh bones. A tree did not do that. Ronald Hoagland, 52, Hoagland, gosh dang it, I don't even care.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, I don't even care about saying it right anymore. And Cindy Bird Warren, 45, were charged with first, second, and third degree murder, as well as involuntary servitude. The prosecution has announced their intention to seek the death penalty since this case is still ongoing. It's ongoing because that just happened in May 2024. We're just November.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I plan to keep everybody updated, even though, in my opinion, death penalty. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Again, I don't know how I feel about death penalty, but these two are very sick individuals to do that to a helpless, defenseless little girl.
And it's weird because they said that he had no criminal past.
So,
And there was no other mentions yet that he did anything to his other children.
so Miss Bird is a manipulator.
I think so. Evil stepmom. And
Sleaze.
honestly, I don't believe that she wasn't involved in her other stepdaughter, Jessica's death.
Yikes.
Because how is it that that happens, years later you get with somebody else who has supposedly no, background in that, and then this happens again?
Agreed. Hey. You know what? They should look into that because I feel like she definitely had an involvement there.
She's the evil stepmother with a poisoned apple.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't even know. Apple kills.
Yeah, she was trying to kill Snow White. She poisoned the apple.
So this evil stepmom used that apple to cause evilness in others and darkness? I don't know.
Sure.
Still. Evil stepmom.
I get your point. I get that metaphor.
Thank you.
That's crazy though. What? I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, I don't even know how this one popped up. It just did, and then I was like, "Oh my god, this just happened this year." That's horrible.
Dang. I don't know. I'm sitting here in shock. I'm like, "What?"
Oh, and I forgot to also include, you know how I said that they had cameras in the house?
Yes.
And then she was in online school?
Yes.
They had her shackled to the furniture while she was doing online classes.
And she got Student of the Month.
Yes.
Aww.
So she was shackled to the furniture. That was all in video. They would also have her, while shackled, do, how do you say it? Calisthenics, do workouts while being videotaped and berated and threatened and all this stuff.
How did the school not get involved? Is it more difficult nowadays?
So the school came out with a post saying that they noticed that there was a lot of illegal absences. So they did report this to, I think they call it CYF, the Child Youth Services over there. And according to Reynolds, when he was talking to the police, he told them oh yeah, actually I did get a call from CYF, but that was it. It was just a call. Nobody ever came to do a checkup.
Yeah, because from my understanding doesn't normally when it's it becomes an illegal amount of unexcused absences that somebody goes to goes to this child's home to do a checkup?
I
Or
don't know how
does
it
that
is
depend
now.
from state to state or like district?
Maybe. Like I had a similar situation with somebody I knew like a long time ago when her son was like 8, where she was just allowing him to skip school. And they said like, oh, if you don't come to the school and have a conference with the sheriff here, then there will be, police involvement. But nobody ever came to the house.
I mean, did this individual get it together to start sending the kid to school?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, maybe that was the warning, and then the next step would have been actually going to their house.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause- Yeah, because from my understanding, because I also know of a similar situation
Hmm.
where cops went to their house to actually do a checkup
Really?
because it got to the point of unexcused absences.
I wonder what's the limit where they do that. Actually, no, I don't need to know because everybody should be scared anyways. You send your kids to school.
You send your kids to school, and if the kid isn't showing up, then yeah, maybe we should do a checkup,
Yeah.
find out what's going on, because that could have saved this little girl's life.
So with Reynolds Hoagland's adult daughters, I think all three, I think there's three of them. They don't care about Reynolds. They don't care about Cindy. And they are suing so many places that this should have been caught. Like there were so many red flags and this should have been like stopped from the beginning.
As they should.
The whole thing is it's horrible for them.
But them too, like how, like I don't want to point fingers at the family either, but did they not ever go to their father's house to check on their sister? If they knew there was like something off about, I don't even know what her fucking name is, Bird?
It never said anything about that actually. Nothing was ever brought up. This case is still ongoing.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I don't know. So far, it hasn't said anything that they knew something was going on.
Yeah,
So I don't
because,
even know if they knew about what the court documents said in 2020 that Cindy couldn't be left alone with Malinda for more than an hour. I don't even
oh,
know if they knew
gotcha.
about that.
Gotcha.
That could have been something that just Cindy and Reynolds knew about.
Got it.
Yeah. And then I did try to look up about Melinda's mother, and it said something about, I guess she was sick because it's hard to find something on her. But so far, what I read is that she was sick to the point where she couldn't take care of Melinda anymore. And I think for a little bit she was staying with her aunt, but then she went with Reynolds,
Got it. Yeah, because, okay, so that's why Reynolds had,
Melinda.
yeah, had the rights over her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like you would think you would, like other family members would go and check up on this little girl if
I
she's a baby
know. If
still.
they knew. No, she was a young one. She was 12. And it's so sad, like just looking at the last picture that Reynolds posted of her for Christmas. I can't tell if that's a fake smile. It probably had to have been a
Oh
fake smile
no!
that she was putting on, like, oh, I got a sweater. Thanks. And smile. Like just
That's
picturing it, like you're going through all this torture and hell, but yet they're telling you, like, okay, smile. Smile for the camera. Look just show what you got.
it's the shackling.
Smile.
It's the shackling. But I mean, I've heard of other cases where, actually, I know of another case, but it wasn't a stepmom who did that. It was an actual like that was her actual child.
I don't get, oh, that hurts my stomach. I don't get people who do this to kids.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I really don't. I want to tear. I don't understand it. Like there are little kids who are defenseless. Defenseless. They can't protect themselves. They look for you for protection, and you're gonna.
I feel like it's one of those things where they want to be like dominant over something. Maybe they grew up not having power over anything, so now that they have these defenseless beings, they have that power that they didn't have, and that's why they torture. I don't know. Amadi and I are here like tearing up.
I know. I'm trying not to. Damn it. That's why I
It's
hate people.
Yeah, it hits different when it's a little kid involved.
It is. It does.
The ones that really, well, this one is very tragic, but
Especially like how much and what exactly do they do to make pretty much all her organs fail? Like, how do you do that? What? I don't understand.
well, you said that like maybe like a form. Okay, I can't even speak now. You said that a form of punishment was having her do these strange positions, right?
Yeah,
Maybe they had her do these positions to the point where she like broke something or something like ruptured.
maybe. Because so
Because
far I didn't hear or read anything about what exactly
Yeah.
they used on her or did to
Because they
her.
did restrict food and water, right?
Yes. That's why when
That's
they found her, she was 55 pounds.
that's almost always their like go-to tactic when I hear about these cases is they restrict food and water.
Yeah. And it's almost, now that I'm thinking about it, it is almost like she was Cinderella. I
Yeah.
don't know if she had a clean, but she had all this torture stuff, and her brother, her stepbrother, was treated like a king.
Yeah. And
And it's
you know
not his
what?
fault. It's
It
not his
is
fault.
not his fault, but you know what? You're very right. Like I hope they see that this kid is going to need to go and seek get they need to go and get this kid help because of everything that he witnessed, and hopefully he doesn't grow up and thinking that this is something that you just do.
Yeah, preventative measures
Yes.
and hopefully, yeah, hopefully nothing happens with him.
Yes. Agreed.
It's sad, like just now that there's still cases like this, just child and
Oh, yeah,
abuse and
there's a
stuff like
lot of
that.
them out there. And the scariest thing is there's some out there that it's not even your stepchild that you're doing this to or their stepchild that they're doing this to. It's their actual kids.
When it's a mother, like that is you had that little baby in your belly. You felt the little kicks, you felt the little hiccups, you felt all the movements. You feel okay beating that up? You feel okay doing all these things to the point of death?
Maybe it gets to the point where those people, well, I mean, it is, those people are not all okay in the head because, like, so I've heard, I mean, when you bring a kid into the world, most normal people look at that child and like feel that connection, feel that love and protection. But there's
So are
the
these people just disconnected from their kids?
that's one way to look at it. I feel like
Because I know, I don't know, but supposedly there's cases out there that say that sometimes after giving birth, there's like a change, like a chemical imbalance. There's a change in a mother's mindset that sometimes there's PTSD. What is it, PTSD? Postpartum depression?
yes, yes,
Yeah. There's sometimes some of them have postpartum depression and some of them where they think like, oh, I'm going to kill this kid like on accident. Not kill him. Well, that's a different one.
like hurt him,
But like I'm
like
going to
hurt
hurt them
them.
if I'm going to be a bad mother, I'm going to hurt them. They don't deserve me. I need to go somewhere else. And then there's also those ones that, oh God, what is that one where it's postpartum depression, schizophrenia or something like that? That's part of it.
Yeah,
That's not the right term.
some people do experience.
If somebody wants to correct me with the correct term, because I know that's not the right term. Psychotic, isn't it? Ugh.
Something about psychosis.
Psychosis, something like that. Yeah.
Psychosis. Because yes, you are right. Because I remember a case in Texas about an individual who killed her infant because she heard voices telling her to hurt her child, and at the end, later on, she would testify that at that moment, at that time, when she looked at that little baby, she couldn't recognize that that was her baby. She was just doing what the voice was telling her to do.
And I heard of two other cases that were similar, but I think this mother had three kids. I think with those cases, they all say that they hear voices
Yes.
telling them.
It's some, but I know we're like picking at mothers right now because of the evil stepmother. But I mean, fathers do this too. This man, Raymond,
Reynold.
Reynold. No, this
As long as you're not
disgusting.
Reynold Hoagland.
As long as you're not Reynold Hoagland, a disgusting individual. Yeah, fathers do this too. Like this sick man who thought this was okay to do to his kid. I mean, that is your kid at the end of the day.
And the same thing with the beginning one, McKinley Warren Jr., who murdered his daughter, Jessica, and their 3-year-old was getting beaten. Just saying the ages. 2 years old, a 3-year-old with all these bruises. Like, are you...
Yeah.
I'm hurting my chest more.
No, it's really heartbreaking. But no, I feel like what you said is pretty accurate. Like they have almost a disconnect to what most people feel when they have a kid,
Yeah.
or when they have a kid,
Yeah,
or
'cause-
what you're supposed to feel. What am I trying to say?
Feel.
Feel.
You want them to heal.
Yes,
There you go.
they should heal
Yeah, because I know there's some others when after they give birth to their firstborn, they do cry a lot, but it's not because I'm going to be a bad mom. They cry because holy shit, you're mine. You're beautiful. Oh my God, I made you. Oh my God, you're here. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
That like protectiveness.
Yes.
Yes. That's
I
but
don't know.
that's like on the other end of the spectrum of what we're at right now.
True. Is it the other end, or is that how all mothers of their firstborns are? Well, maybe not just firstborn. Like the first time they actually given birth, like, oh my God, like I gave birth. No?
I mean, the one case that I can think of at the moment that I can compare this to is, I think her name is Angela Simpson, and it happened in Eugene, Oregon. It's strange, that case, because that case, it was her daughter who she did this to, and her son she treated like the jewel of her eye.
Was
But
it her
her
firstborn?
but her firstborn was her daughter.
Oh. Oh, she must be. Maybe she's one of those moms who never wanted a daughter, just wanted a son.
Maybe. That's the case that I can kind of like see similarities in, because the first thing that happened was physical punishment, as in like doing these strange positions and restricting food and water. And that little girl, I think, was also like either 12 or 13.
Is that the one where she burned her near a barn?
No,
Oh,
that's
a
another
different
one.
Oh, God.
There's a lot out there.
If you guys want to hear any one of those and hear us get really sad, let us know.
Oh my God.
We'll try not to cry.
We'll try to hold it in, be strong.
I'm I'm barely holding it. I have tears. I have tears in my eyes. I'm trying to hold them back.
Amani's squinting right now. She's like pulling back.
People are horrible.
People are monsters. Those were some of the most evil monsters.
I put in like really high spots on the totem pole.
Those are the ones that you're like, yeah, death pole. Death pole? Death. What am I trying to say? See, I am
I
like
think you do believe in the death sentence.
death
That
sentence.
was your way. What is it called? The Freudian slip? Death.
Capital punishment.
But I put them up there because that's a child that you gave birth to. It came from you.
Yeah.
And for any of them to do something like that, that's
You didn't just hurt them, you tortured them.
yeah,
to the
that's
point
that's
of-
truly evil.
Yeah. That is
Because they came from you.
a very, very twisted.
Now
sort
I
of
think
evil.
I think
Yeah.
differently for the ones with the psychosis. That one's a little different. I don't see them as quite evil.
As the
But
ones
just-
like the case that we talked about today, where these two individuals knew exactly what they were doing,
Yes,
to the point where this little girl died.
2 little girls.
2 little girls.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that she was connected to both.
That's sick.
And this was my telling of an evil stepmother.
Way to go. You succeeded.
You're welcome.
But yes, keep us updated, Amadi, because I haven't heard about this case, but I would definitely like to know about any major updates. Maybe
And
some,
where they're being sent to.
yes, and maybe some answers to some of the questions that we still have. Oh, absolutely. Definitely. First class.
But with that all being said, be well
Be safe.
and see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.